Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Umi Nur Najihah binti Azman. So today, me and my team members, my other team members are going to present the products for the third Invention, Innovation and Technology Competition ITeC 2021. So the title of our product is Hope for the Hopeless, the coping mechanisms for father-daughter incest survivors. On to the presentation outline. So this presentation will cover a few aspects, which is the first one is the presentation outline itself, the second one is the team members, the third one is the introduction, the fourth one is the example of incest cases. It also consists of the materials and methods, contribution and the usefulness, uniqueness and novelty, and the last one is the potential for commercialization. So moving on to the next part of the presentation, which is the team members. So this project is represented by 4 team members. The first one is myself, Umi Nur Najihah binti Azman, also represented by Prof. Dr. Yarina Ahmad, Dr. Nur Suziwana Haji Tahir, and also Dr. Siti Nur Fatana binti Abdul Hamid. Moving on to the first part of this presentation, which is the introduction. For the first one, incest is categorized as a long-standing issue in the Malaysian context, which involves children under the age of 18 years old. The seriousness of incest issue and its negative implications are undeniable. And among the negative implications of this issue are stress, mental health issues, psychological and physical damage. And in the worst case scenario, some of the victims have committed suicide. In Malaysia, child sexual abuse, including incest, has been acknowledged in the country in 1990s. However, many of the incidents remain isolated and underreported. The underreporting cases of child sexual abuse is not only happening in our country. However, it also occurred in other international countries such as Japan, Korea, and Australia. The international context suggested that a feeling of shame, disbelief among people were among the factors for underreporting of child sexual abuse cases. And for your information, in a recent discovery, society who happen to know about the incest cases occurred in their neighborhood also refused to take action to report the incident towards the authority. So this situation suggested that the existing number of incest cases in our country only representing the tips of iceberg of the total number of incidents occurred. While the incidence of incest is a form of intrafamilial sexual abuse, the traumatic experience of victims and survivors of incest affects their life. According to Le Heswa 2021, the survivors of father-daughter incest may continue to feel depressed, more likely to distance themselves from their parents, having low self-esteem, self-loathing, low self-efficacy, pervasive interpersonal difficulties, and feeling contamination, worthlessness, shame, and also helplessness. Therefore, the survivors of incest require very strong support from their family itself and also the society. The coping mechanisms in overcoming the traumatic incidents helps them to continue to have a better life and family in the future. Okay, there are a few examples of incest cases highlighted in this project. For the first example of cases highlighted in this project is a case who occurred in Austria, where a father, which is Joseph Fries, has convicted of kidnapped and raped her own daughter, Elizabeth Fries, at the age of 18 years. And Elizabeth has been locked under the basement of their house for 24 years, and the abuse by Elizabeth's father resulted in the birth of 7 children. 3 remained in the basement with Elizabeth. 1 had died after birth at the hands of Joseph. 3 were brought out by Fritz and having been reported as foundlings. And the second example of incest cases highlighted in this project is involving a dad who commits 623 sex crimes on daughter and get 48 years jail. And this incest cases reported is occurred in Malaysia, where the man divorced from the children's mother and had full custody of the eldest children since January 2017, and the father started to rape the victim for the first time in Mecca when they went to perform Umrah. And the last one is the father committed unnatural sex on her daughter, but the daughter was unable to do anything because her mouth was closed. So moving on to the next part of the presentation, which is the material. So this initiative is developed based on the doctoral work of myself, which aims to delve the coping mechanism and long-term effect of father-daughter incest among the survivors. And this study also a part of fundamental research grant scheme FRGS entitled Play versus Pleasure versus Pain, Fundamental Understanding and Assessing the impact of incest sibling on individual, family and also Malaysian society. So by following these two work, an official website is developed which aim to serve as a platform to communicate, share information and stories with victims and survivors of incest and wider audience. So there is a special page dedicated for the victims and survivors on this website to get more information, share their stories and expression on how they cope with their stressful and traumatic experience. So there are a few main advantages of website highlighted, which are to share research information with the public, make official announcement on the website, for example the data collection notice or links to questionnaires and others. And other than that, it will be used to update the research information and status from time to time, to communicate with the public or the visitor through website, chat, email that visitor can use to ask if they have any questions. Other than that, the website will serve as a reference for the public and respondents who will be involved in the study to obtain more information about the study. And the last one is the development of this website shows that this study was conducted transparently in accordance with the ethical procedure of conducting the study. On to the next part of the presentation, which is the contribution and the usefulness. These innovative ideas has highlighted several contributions and usefulness, and not only towards the targeted audience, including the victims and survivors, but it also towards the relevant Indian agencies in formulating and strengthening existing programs and activities to curb the incest issues in Malaysia. So for the first one is this website is served as a platform to communicate and share information, as what I have highlighted earlier. One of the main functions of website is to enhance the communication, provide input towards the visitors, content sharing, and also encourage the collaboration. So the second one is this website is also to serve as a coping mechanism for incest victims and survivors, where one of the web pages in this website emphasize the aspect of coping mechanism towards a targeted audience, which is the victims and also including the survivors of incest issues. So through this page, the visitors can choose which part that suits towards the situation they are facing. So the next one is this website is served also as a channel of information towards the relevant agencies, where this project will be a catalyst for relevant agencies to take any action to cater the issue of incest. Where through this website, the victims are allowed to share their traumatic experience through the channel that has been provided, which is our official email. The next contribution is towards the national policies, where we know in Malaysia there are a few policies that has been developed, such as Child Act Policy 2009, Child Protection Policy 2009, and others. Although there are many policies that has been developed to cater these issues, improvements towards the policy needed to be made commensurate with the seriousness of the child-related issues that often occur. So it helps the responsible parties to come out and amend the new policies that can help to protect the rights of the children as a whole. And the last contributions of this project is in terms of international policies, where the development of this website is beneficial and in line with the development of international policies that cover the right of children, such as CRC, the Convention on Child Right, and also Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. And SDGs cannot be achieved without the completion of children's rights. So therefore, the right of children, such as good health, quality education, need to be secured from the beginning. This is because there is a potential for those children to protect the future for all of us. On to the next part of the presentation, which is the uniqueness and novelty. So this project represents several uniqueness and novelty from the two research, which is my doctoral research and also FRGS grant. So the first one is the website is originally developed on empirical evidence. So the development of hope for the hopeless is initiated by two studies, which is the doctoral research and also FRGS grant. So based on reviewing the secondary information, which includes previous research articles, newspaper, government documents, and others, these two studies found that communicate through online is one of the convenient ways for incest victims and survivors to communicate and share their stories. This is because they can easily hide their real identity and freely talk about their stress and traumatic experience. So the second one is to utilize technology to disseminate information towards the targeted audience, which are the victims and the survivors of incest. Since Malaysia is currently upholding the international agenda of industrial revolution, so this innovative idea incorporates technology by developing the website that consists of several important web pages that allow people not only in Malaysia but also around the globe to get and access current information towards the incest issues. Other than that, it is also relevant to be developed in today's critical situations of pandemic COVID-19, where a majority of people is connected to each other through online. So the third one is among the earliest work focused specifically on the incest issues in Malaysia. As mentioned earlier, incest issue has become the taboo topic among Malaysians since many years ago. So, however, the seriousness of this issue is undeniable. So, the situation highlights the urgency to conduct a research related towards this issue in Malaysian context. So, one of the innovative initiatives undertaken by these two studies is emphasized on the development of online platform to encourage victims and survivors to get the current information and share their stories and information. So it is among the pioneering initiative based on empirical evidence and current status of incest issues in Malaysian context. The next one is to enhance the child protection and privacy. Due to the situation, the relevant agencies and parties face difficulties and challenge in finding significant solution to address the issues of incest effectively, because it is recognized as a long-standing taboo issue in Malaysia. This is because incest victims and survivors find very difficult to share their stories and experience due to the societal stigma and stereotype. Hence, these two research developed one convenient website to exchange relevant information related towards the issue. So the information given and received by many parties will contribute towards a number of positive implications, such as enhancing the child protection and privacy in Malaysian context. In terms of the potential for commercialization, Hope for the Hopeless, or this project has the potential to be commercialized to national and international level. And this website is proposing a model of communication to serve incest victims and survivors in sharing their stories, information, and also experience. And this model or this project also encourage the victims and survivors to freely talk about their stress and traumatic incidents, which subsequently can help others. And also, this model is not aimed for creating high profit. However, it will serve as a part of the responsibility of Malaysia to cater the issue of incest and help the victims and the survivors. Children are the future of world. They are the generations of the future who will be responsible for raising the name of the country and maintaining our world security. Therefore, their right, protection, and privacy should be protected. Consequently, the development of this website is intended to promote several objectives related to the research and emphasize on the aspect of child sexual abuse, which covered the issue of incest. So the importance of the development of this website can be seen through the information that has been shared through this website, where most of the victims or the survivors of incest issues can find their right coping mechanisms that can be used by them to reduce their level of stress and due to the traumatic events occurred in their life. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.